So welcome back one and all. This is day 22 and we're going to focus on a nice full body Pilates workout that's targeting all of the major muscle groups. Today you don't need anything, no kit apart from the mat, a glass of water to stay hydrated and a little bit of spirit and enthusiasm. We're going to start in a kneeling position and we're going to focus on warming up the spine, getting mobilized, and then getting stuck into the main event. So join me on the mat as we come onto all fours. We're going to begin with thoracic twists. So you're going to take one hand behind the head with the shoulders over the hands, knees, beneath the hips. And as you exhale, twist elbow across the body through the thigh and arm. Inhale, open the chest, drawing the elbow back, looking to the sky. So you're looking for this stretching, opening sensation through the mid spine, keeping the hips centered so there's no shifting there. And as you pull the elbow back, you're opening the chest. Let's do one more. Open the chest, pull the elbow back, exhale, twist through, and then set the hand down on the ground. Opposite side, exhale, twist through, inhale, open and stretch. So one side is definitely more restricted than the other. This actually feels a bit more freer. And as I thread my elbow through, I can feel that pull almost from the bottom of the waistline into the mid spine. Last one. Set both hands back down beneath the shoulders. I want you to shift your weight forwards as we come into a downward dog. Flex the feet, take a breath in, lift hips up and back. Find length through the back of the legs. Spread the fingertips and then grip into the mat. And as you inhale, send a wave through the spine, transitioning through plank, hips down to the ground, chest up for upward dog. Send the hips up into your down dog. And then float the hips down for your up dog. Use the rhythm of your breath to help dictate the tempo and the rhythm of your movement. And in your up dog, you're opening the chest and abs, drawing the shoulders down away from the ears. And in your down dog, you're lengthening through the back of the legs, lower back, and the outside edges of the body. Last one, take that pause in your down dog, and then float the knees down to the ground, wider than the hips. Shift back into child's pose. And as you inhale, send both hands off one side of the mat, coming into a side bend. And you're sinking the hips into the ground, breathing into that edge of the body, opening the rib cage. And then sweep the hands across the mat, side bend over the opposite side. And we're going to keep transitioning from left to the right side of the mat, just to keep that movement going, keep that heat. Pausing on one side to take a nice deep breath in and out, and switch. Final time. Bringing both hands to the center. Inhale, rolling up through the spine, transitioning through plank. We're going to take one foot and place it on the outside of the hands. Sink the hip down to the ground, sink the knee down to the ground, and then float. If you've got the left foot forwards, left hand comes up, turning towards that front thigh. Open up through the hips. Float the arm overhead and back down to the ground, and then retrace. Stretching the arm forwards and back over the shoulder. So we're going to draw 3 circles here, rotating through the spine, sinking into the hips deeper, and then through plank. Let's do it on the opposite side. Big stretch through the fingertips as we draw this half circle from the mat over the shoulder, pointing to the sky and back down. Last one. And send both hands back down to the ground. Come back into plank, shift hips into down dog. And then bend through the knees, walk your feet to the hands, forward fold. And then slowly rolling up through the spine, pushing through both legs. Circle the arms overhead. And then float the hands down by your side. Roll the shoulders back. So I'm repositioning myself as the first exercise we're going to do as part of today's workout is going to be a Pilates push-up. So we're going to start from a standing position here. From the bottom of the mat, engage the core, and then rolling down through the spine. Send the hands to the mat. You're walking the hands away from the feet into a plank. Bend through the elbows as you squeeze them into the ribs, and then exhale, push through both arms. Walk the hands back. Option to float to the knees in your plank as you, just before, you perform your push-up. So option, float knees down, bend at the elbows, chest comes halfway, and then push through both arms. Lift knees off of the ground as you walk the hands back. Stretching out the back edge of the body as you roll up. Last one, rolling all the way down. Strong in your push-up. And then walk the hands back. Roll up to a standing position. Circle the arms overhead. And then exhale, fold forwards at the hips, rolling down chest towards your thighs. Find some length through the back of the body and begin to walk through your forward fold. Stretching the back of the legs, relaxing the shoulders. We should now be nice and warm and ready for the main event. So after our push-ups, we're going into a straight leg bicycle. So bend through the knees, send the tailbone down to the ground, and let's come onto our backs. Rolling down. Draw both thighs into your chest. And then you're going to send the left leg straight up, reaching behind the thighs or the back of the calves and extending the opposite leg, hovering over the mat. As you exhale, lift the chest towards your thigh, and then gently pull, pulse twice, and then release the leg and switch. Pull, pulse, switch. Pull, pulse, switch. Keeping the shoulders off the ground, chest drawing closer to the thighs. Stretching the back of the leg as you pulse, squeezing the tops of the thighs as you pull, extending through the toes. You should feel the mid spine and the lower spine imprinting on the mat. strong core engagement. We're here for 10 seconds. Keep working through. Build up that heat. 3, 2, 1. Draw both thighs into your chest. Relax through the shoulders. Exhale. Roll down onto your back. We're coming into a side laying position. Up onto our forearms. So bring the shoulders directly over the forearms. And then stacking the shoulders, hips, and knees. Coming into a side bridge with clamshell. As you exhale, lift through the hips, keeping the core engaged. Open the thighs, squeezing the glutes. Keep them stacked and down. Outside of the thigh touches the ground, but not the hip bone. Lift. Squeezing, control on the way back down to relax. There's a subtle push through the forearm to lift yourself out of the shoulder socket. You're really working into the lower obliques and the upper hip. And to help keep the shoulders in line, you can bring the hands onto the waist or reach and extend overhead, stretching to the sky. Really squeeze as you lift the hips, just gently pushing through that bottom knee. For 3 more. 2. Last one, big squeeze on the way up. And slowly lower all the way down. Rest your head in your hand, keeping the hips, shoulders stacked. Extend your legs to the bottom edge of your mat. And if you need space, just shuffle backwards. Flex the feet and then separate the legs. Lift as we come into a side laying leg lift. Lower to let the leg hover above the bottom leg. Lift and squeeze. You're looking for that tension in the glutes, stacking through the hips and shoulders so you're not rolling forwards or backwards. And that control as you elevate the leg. Keep that connection with your breath. That focus on your movement. Just fluid movement. Be really precise so you're not overcompensating or losing that connection with your center. Last 3 and 2 and 1. Slowly lower down. And then pull both knees in, switch side. So just quickly going to fix this mic. And as we come onto the opposite side, extending through both legs, we're going to work backwards through this. So flex the feet and then separate. Lift and squeeze as you come into your side laying leg lift. Core engaged. After this, we're going to come back into our side bridge with clams to even the body out. You're going to notice one side is stronger than the other side, I want to say. So you're going to be more challenged in your leg lifts on the opposite side. Really focus on not trying to force it, but keeping your alignment, connection with the center. So engage that core, stay connected with the breath. Legs starting to feel really heavy now. For 3, 2, last 1 to lift, squeeze, control down. So bend through the knees and then come up onto the forearm. And we're coming back into our side bridge with clamshell. So lift yourself out the shoulder socket, stack through the shoulders, hips, and knees. Lift and squeeze as you open the thighs and slowly roll down onto the outer edge of the thigh. lift, ensuring that the hip bone does not meet the ground, and extend through the arms just to help feel that pull out of the shoulders. You're doing beautifully. Keep it going. Keep that heat coming. Don't shy away from it. For 3 and 2 and 1. Slowly roll down through the outside of the body. And we're going to come onto all fours. Let's quickly fix the position of this. Hands beneath the shoulders, knees beneath the hips, spread the fingers, gently grip into the mat. Bring the feet hip width apart. Engage the core, toes pointed so the tops of your feet are on the mat. And you're going to feel a gentle lift through your navel as you elevate the knees off of the ground to hover. Squeezing the belly button upwards to the spine. And we're holding this position. Squeeze the elbows in and then push the chest away from the ground. And this is all about core engagement, core awareness. You can hear the shake in my voice. That's good. Stay connected with the breath. We're holding for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Keep with it. 4. Don't stop yet. Last one. Float the knees down to the ground. And then shift back onto the heels and gently roll out the wrist. So beautiful work. That's the first section done. We are coming back on our forearms. Back on our hands. An option always, you know yourselves better than I do. If you feel like this is too much on the wrist, you can always do the exercises from the forearms where it's adaptable. So we're coming into a push-up position. And the knees are going to be beneath the hips. Relax through the shoulders, so there's space between the shoulders and the ears. Push the chest away from the ground. Let's take one leg back, keeping the hips nice and level, squarely facing the ground. And we're pulling the leg back. Squeeze the glutes, bend at the elbows, lower chest to the floor. Exhale, big push, nice and strong out of your push-up. Inhale, lower down. Exhale to push. Try and keep the hips centered so they're not pulling backwards. Then press evenly through both arms. Squeezing inwards. Last one. Return the knee to the ground and then change leg, extend and lift. Lower chest and push. Just 2 more. And last one. Return knee to the ground. Flex feet. And inhale, lift into downward dog. We're holding for 10, 9, 8. Draw the shoulders down the spine and away from the ears for 4, 3, 2. Float the knees down to the ground. And shift hips back to heels. Shake out the arms. Shake out the wrists if you need to. And then we're going to take it back onto our forearms. Last movement in all fours position before we step out of or move out of this sequence. Deep breath in, engage the core. We're taking one leg back and opposite arm extends out. Lift the back of the leg and squeeze. Inhale, draw hand to thigh and exhale, extend. You're looking to keep the chest and the hips square, facing the ground. As we extend 2 more times, through bird dog. Last time. Keep the spine straight as you bring the hands and thigh to meet. Big extension, then return hand and knee to the ground, change side. It's a gentle tap as you bring the thigh to meet the hand. And stay connected with the breath. One more. And set the hand and knee down to the ground. Flex the feet, pull the hips up and back into downward dog, and then walk your feet to your hands and roll up through your forward fold. Roll the shoulders back as we come into the standing position. We're going to take a nice wide stance, 1.5 times the width of your shoulders, so to speak. Toes turn out. Keep the core nice and engaged as we come into plie squats. Draw the knees in line with the toes. Reach down. If you can tap the ground, beautiful. If not, that's okay. Just reach down, chest up. Inhale. Stand out of your squat. Draw the elbows wide as you pull them back. And then sit into your squat. Tap the ground. Plie squats with a beautiful high pull. Think of them as some big wings. And you're spreading your wings as you draw back, squeezing the upper back. And as you sit into your squat, make sure that your chest stays tall as you push your bum back. And we have half of this beautiful circuit to go. We're pretty much halfway through and you're doing beautifully. Last one, come up onto your tiptoes and hold. Extend the arms overhead, reaching through the fingertips. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. We're squeezing the calves, lifting the heels as far off the ground as you can. For 5, 4, 3, 2, float the heels down to the ground and slowly float the arms down by your side. So take a nice big breath, circle the arms or the elbows. Getting all my words mixed up. Circle the shoulders back and down and change direction. And then relax, roll down through the spine and take the hands forwards as we come into a downward dog. So downward dog should almost feel like a resting pose now. And we're taking the left leg up and back, keeping the hips squarely facing the ground. And sending a wave through the spine as we draw the knee into the chin. And then pushing back into your downward dog. We got 4 more. Knee to chin. And then stretching the leg back, keeping the hips level. 3 more. Let this be the last one. Draw the knee into chin. Set the foot back down as you come into your down dog. Let's take the other leg up and back. And then knee to chin. Shift back into your downwards dog. 4 more to finish off. 5 total. Last one, you're really crunching the lower abs in. And then I want you to extend the leg into your down dog and then float back down. Float the knees down to the ground, wider than the hips. Feel free to point the toes and rest your forehead on the mat as you gently sway the hips back and forth. Relax through the shoulders. And then roll up through the spine. And rolling the shoulders back. So as you take these shoulder circles backwards, nice and big, and then roll them forwards. Gently creating nice big circles. Bring the hands back down onto the mat, onto all fours. Flex the feet, and let's transition through downward dog to a standing position. Rolling up through the spine. So we're going to float the arms in front of us. We're going to do T-spines. So for this, you're going to take the left arm or right arm up and over. Hips are facing the top of the mat as you're twisting through the spine to look over the back shoulder, and then float the arm overhead. So we're going to do 3 of these on both arms, then introduce our high knees to add a little balance in. So second time on both sides. Focus on that twist through the mid spine and that openness of the chest. Last time on both sides. Now as we come back to center, floating both arms in front of us, we're taking the right leg off the ground as we twist through the left. Wrong side. Let's do that again. As we float the left arm overhead, we're lifting the left knee to hip height if you can, and then floating the foot back down to the ground as we float the arms in front of us, opposite side. So we're taking our time with this. We have 2 on each side. Balance and stability is key over your tempo. Final time, stay connected, keep the core engaged. With my dodgy hips, this has proven to be quite a challenging exercise. That's why I thought I'd flow it in here. And I almost didn't make that one. That's okay. Roll the shoulders down and back. And then inhale, take the arms overhead, and exhale, float the hands down to the floor. And feel free to walk on the spot. And then find some stillness in your downward dog. Your forward fold. I want you to take the right leg back. Nice big step. And then as you bend the knee down to the ground, float both arms overhead. So we're taking it into a subtle back bend, and then coming up nice and tall, reaching through the fingertips, but relax the shoulders away from the ears. You want to feel that inwards pull of the belly, so you're flattening the lower back and keeping the spine stable. Lifting through the fingertips as you come all the way up from that kneeling lunge, and then floating all the way back down. Soft touch of the knee on the ground, and lift all the way up, stretching through the front and back leg. And imagine you're kneeling on eggshells as you float back down to the ground. Last one. Rise up and float down. Float both hands down to the ground and transition through plank to down dog. We're going to take the opposite leg up and back, and then float the knee into chin. Set the foot down on the ground. Float the back knee down, and send the arms overhead. Subtle back bend, and then reaching through the fingertips, lift through the back knee, stretching the front thigh, and then lower down to the ground. I want you to squeeze the front thigh as you stand, and then float down like you're landing on eggshells. 2 more. Keep your shoulders relaxed so you're reaching through the arms, not crunching the neck. Last one. Float the hands down to the ground, frame that front foot, step back through plank, and then float the knees down to the ground, and set the hips back to heels for child's pose, resting the forehead on the mat. Deep breath in, reconnect with your breath. Feel free to gently sway hips from side to side, relaxing the shoulders, elbows, wrists.
And then find some stillness in your child's pose. Deep breath into the back of the ribs, inflating your belly as you do. And let the inflation of your belly pushing against the thighs stretch out your lower back. Well done. That was quite a strong finish to our practice. But before we go, inhale, roll up through the spine, let us stretch. You're going to take one hand and float it, opening the chest, reaching for the sky. Then exhale, send that hand past the thigh, threading through as you do. Rest the back of the arm on the floor and the head. Keep the hips centered. And you have the option to close your eyes down here. And just tune into the rhythm of the breath, the heartbeat. Feel it come back to its natural pace. And then as you inhale, come back up onto all fours. Let's change side, opening the chest, fingers to the sky. And then exhale, float the hands through, resting on the back of the arm. And then inhale, come back up onto all fours. Let's walk the hands forwards a little bit, bring the shoulders above the hands. We're going to transition through plank, swinging one arm and one leg underneath us, losing my words again, and setting the hips down into pigeon pose. So we're just opening up the hips, the outside edge of the hips, and you are more than welcome to rest on your forearms or send your forehead down to the ground, keeping the hips level. And if you need a little bit of support beneath your hips, you can always use one of those blocks that we've been using throughout the challenge, or a stack of books to help prop yourself up, or a couple cushions. And taking the next breath in, slowly come up out of your pigeon pose. And we're going to transition onto the other side through plank. So stretch out that leg and then take the other leg underneath the hips and set yourself down. Try and relax the shoulders away from the ears so you're not crunching into your neck. And take those breaths deep into your lungs. Slowly exhale, sending the breath all the way out. Releasing any tension that might be hiding anywhere in the body. And with the next breath in, let's all come out of our pigeon pose. Step back into plank, and then set the knees down. Bring the hips to heels and roll up into a kneeling position to finish off. Beautiful work. I'm catching my breath and kind of trying to find my center, because that was actually quite a strong circuit and finish, certainly. So if I found it challenging, I believe you guys working at home just as much as me also did. So I want to thank you for your effort this far, and I will look at tomorrow, day 23, when we'll focus on a little bit of resistance band work. So get those ready.
Until then, stay safe, stay blessed. Peace.